Do not be confused by the quiet. Do not search the horizon for the storm you have grown so accustomed to. You wake up, and there is no accusation waiting for you. You go through your day, and the sharp whisper of your name, spoken as a curse, does not reach your ears. You wait for the familiar tension, the gripping in your chest that always came before the attack, and it does not come. This silence you are hearing, it is not an accident, and it is not peace, not yet. It is something else. It is a pause I have commanded. Listen to me carefully. I need you to understand what is happening, because if you misunderstand this silence, you will fill it with your own fear. And I do not want you afraid. I want you still. I want you watching. I want you listening to me. For a long time, you have lived with noise. The noise of opposition. The noise of voices raised against you. The noise of plans being made in secret to harm you. You felt it even when you could not prove it. You sensed the weight of eyes watching, waiting for you to fall. That noise has been your companion, your unwelcome shadow. It shaped your days. It dictated your prayers. It kept you on edge, constantly bracing for the next blow. But now, nothing. Why? You think perhaps they have given up. You think perhaps you imagined the threat. You think maybe the danger has passed on its own. This is what your mind tells you, because your mind is trying to find a logical explanation for the sudden stillness. But I am not limited by logic. I am the one who silences the accuser. I am the one who places a muzzle on the lion. I am the one who says to the sea of your enemies, "This far you may come, and no farther." And I have spoken that command over you. This message is reaching you now, at this precise moment, because you are about to misinterpret the quiet. You are about to let your guard down in the wrong way. You are about to assume the fight was over, when in truth, the most critical part of the battle has just begun. But it is not a battle fought with weapons you can see. It is not a battle fought with words or arguments or defenses. It is a battle fought in the realm of the unseen, where I have been working while you slept. I have been silent with you for a reason. You cried out, and the heavens felt like brass. You pleaded, and the only answer was more quiet. You asked me to move, to act, to strike down those who rise against you, and I seemed to do nothing. You carried this as a wound, believing perhaps that I had not heard you, or worse, that I had turned away. But I was not ignoring you. I was gathering. I was positioning. I was laying the groundwork for a work so deep, so complete, that it would require the silence of every voice but my own. Your enemies are suddenly silent because I have removed their permission to speak. Not permanently, no, do not relax completely, but for a season, for a purpose, for a reason that is unfolding even as you breathe in this quiet. I have placed a hedge about you, not the kind of hedge you can see, but a spiritual barrier that their words cannot penetrate. Their tongues have become heavy in their mouths. Their plans have become muddled in their minds. They wake up with the intention to move against you, and then they forget. They become distracted. They lose their fire. They turn on each other. This is not coincidence. This is not luck. This is my hand, and it is heavy upon them. I have done this because I am about to speak. And when I speak, I need you to be able to hear me. I cannot shout over the noise of your accusers. I cannot whisper the truth to your heart while you are still covering your ears against the lies. So I have silenced the battlefield, not to end the war, but to give you the command that will win it. This quiet is not your reward. It is your preparation. You have been asking me to change your circumstances. You have been begging me to remove the people who oppose you. You have been crying out for vindication, for justice, for the tables to turn, and I have heard every single tear-soaked word. But I am not a God who simply rearranges the outside. I am a God who transforms the inside, and I cannot transform what you will not release. There are things hidden within you that you have never seen. There are strengths I placed in your spirit before the foundation of the world that have never been activated. There are truths about who you are in me that have remained dormant, buried under the weight of other people's opinions. The silence of your enemies is the space I am giving you to discover these things. Do not waste it on relief. Do not waste it on celebrating their absence. Do not waste it on plotting your revenge or waiting for them to return so you can prove you survived. That is the old way. That is the shallow way. That is the path that leads back to the same cycle of pain and reaction. I am calling you higher. I am calling you deeper. I am calling you into a place where the silence becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, you finally see yourself the way I have always seen you. You will be tempted to break this silence yourself. You will want to reach out. You will want to explain yourself. You will want to prove that you were right and they were wrong. You will want to force a conversation, to demand an apology, to finally have your day in court. Do not do it. If you speak now, you will shatter the hush I have ordained. You will fill the space with your own noise, and you will miss what I am about to say. And what I am about to say is more important than any defense you could craft. What I am about to show you is more valuable than any vindication they could offer. I have silenced them so you can hear me. I have stilled the waters so you can see your own reflection and see my reflection in you. This is the moment everything must be told. Not everything about them, but everything about you. The things I have hidden until now. The reasons I delayed. The signs you missed. You are ready now. You could not hear it before because the noise was too loud. But now in this sacred, unsettling quiet, I will speak, and it will change everything. Do not fear the silence. Do not fill it. Do not question it. Just be still and know you have been asking me why. Why did I allow them so much voice for so long? Why did I let their words reach you, wound you, shape you? Why did I stand silently by while they plotted in shadows and spoke against you in places you could not defend yourself? This question has been the thorn in your prayers. You have laid it before me again and again, and each time I received your tears, I collected every one, but I did not answer until now. Now, in this silence, you can finally hear the answer. I allowed their voices because you needed to hear things about yourself that only an enemy would say. Do not recoil from this. Sit in it. Let it land. An enemy has no reason to flatter you. An enemy has no investment in protecting your feelings. An enemy will say what a friend will hide. And beneath the cruelty of their words, beneath the malice and the distortion and the lies, there was always a sliver of truth. A truth about where you were weak. A truth about where you were proud. A truth about where you had strayed from my path and convinced yourself you were still walking it. I did not send them to destroy you. I allowed them to expose you, not to shame you, never to shame you. Shame was their weapon, not mine. I allowed the exposure so you could see what needed to change. I allowed the opposition so you would finally stop moving long enough to ask me if you were even moving in the right direction. You thought the battle was about them. Every accusation that stung did so because it touched something unhealed inside you. Every lie that gained traction in your mind did so because there was already a seed of doubt you had planted there yourself. Every attack that drew blood found a wound that was already present, a wound you had been hiding, a wound you refused to bring to me. I let them press on those wounds so the infection would rise to the surface. I let them speak against you so the hidden things within you would finally be forced into the light. Not so you could be condemned, but so you could be healed. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot surrender what you still protect. And you have been protecting so much. You have been protecting your reputation, even while I called you to humility. You have been protecting your right to be understood, even while I called you to forgive. You have been protecting your anger, nursing it like a wounded child, because your anger felt like the only power you had left in a situation where you felt powerless. But I am your power. I always was. And I have been waiting for you to lay down your fragile defenses so you could finally take up mine. This is why the silence has come now. Not because the battle is over, but because the real battle, the one within you, has reached its critical moment. Your enemies are not silent because they have lost interest. They are silent because I have restrained them long enough for you to do the work you have been avoiding, the work of the inner transformation. If they were still speaking, you would still be reacting. You would still be defending. You would still be rehearsing your comebacks, planning your rebuttals, imagining the day when you would finally prove them wrong. And as long as you were doing that, your heart would remain closed to me. So I have removed the distraction. Look around you now. Feel the quiet. This is surgery, and I am the surgeon. The noise has been turned off, so the scalpel can do its work without you flinching. There are things within you that must die, not your enemies, within you. There are thoughts you have entertained that have become strongholds. There are offenses you have treasured that have become chains. There is a version of yourself that you have constructed, a victim, a fighter, a survivor, that is not who I created you to be. I created you to be a conqueror. But conquerors do not conquer by defending themselves. They conquer by trusting me so completely that no weapon formed against them can prosper, whether it comes from outside or from within. You have been your own worst enemy, and you did not even know it. Every time you rehearsed the betrayal, you wounded yourself again. Every time you imagined their success and your failure, you built a prison. Every time you looked at your circumstances and declared them hopeless, you limited what I could do through you. Your enemies did not need to lift a finger against you in those moments. You were doing their work for them, and I watched, and I waited, and I loved you too much to leave you there. So I have brought you to this place of silence, not to punish you, not to mock you, not to make you wait longer than you can bear, but to show you what you have been doing to yourself. Look at your own hands. Are they still clenched? Are they still raised in defense, in anger, in the futile posture of one who fights battles I already promised to fight for you? Open them. Open your hands and give me everything you have been holding. Give me your need to be right. Give me your need to be vindicated. Give me your need for them to admit what they did. Give me the hope that they will one day see their mistake and apologize. Give me the satisfaction you have been saving for yourself, the satisfaction of watching them fall the way you fell. I am not asking you to pretend these desires are not there. I am asking you to trust me enough to place them in my hands. Because what I have for you on the other side of this surrender is greater than anything they could take from you. What I am building in you through this silence is more permanent than any victory you could win against them. You have been looking outward for so long. You have been scanning the horizon for threats, for enemies, for the next attack. You have become an expert at reading the faces of those who oppose you, at predicting their moves, at bracing for their blows. But you have neglected the landscape of your own heart, and that landscape has grown wild. Thorns have grown where I planted seeds. Walls have been built where I intended bridges. You have fortified yourself against them, but in doing so, you have also fortified yourself against me. I cannot reach the deepest parts of you until you lower those walls. I cannot heal the oldest wounds until you stop guarding them. I cannot fill you with my peace while you are still holding onto your pieces. This silence is not just about them. It is about you. It is about the space I am creating for us to meet in a way we have never met before. It is about the intimacy I have been longing for, the kind of intimacy that can only happen when there are no distractions, no emergencies, no crises demanding your attention. I have removed the crisis. Do you see now? Do you see what I am doing? I am not ignoring your pain. I am not dismissing what they did to you. I am not pretending the injustice was just. I am not asking you to forget or to pretend it never happened. I am asking you to let me be your justice. I am asking you to let me be your vindication. I am asking you to trust that I see everything they did, every word they spoke, every plan they made, and that I will handle it in a way that is far more complete than anything you could orchestrate. Your job right now is not to watch them. Your job is not to wait for them to speak again. Your job is not to analyze their silence for clues about their next move. Your job is to let me search you, to let me know your heart, to let me see if there is any offensive way in you, any root of bitterness, any seed of unforgiveness, any hidden harvest of hate, and to lead you in the way everlasting. This is the deepest work. This is the work most people avoid. This is the work that separates those who merely survive from those who truly live in me. You have survived. I acknowledge that. I honor the strength it took to endure what you endured. But I did not create you for survival. I created you for abundance. I created you for peace that passes understanding. I created you for joy that is not dependent on your circumstances. And you cannot have those things while you are still fighting battles that are already mine. Let them be silent. Let them be still. Let them wonder what happened to their fire. Let them be confused by their own sudden loss of appetite for your destruction. And you let me love you. Not the version of you that fought back. Not the version of you that proved them wrong. Not the version of you that finally got the last word. The real you. The one I have always seen. The one I have always loved. The one I am calling out of the noise and into the quiet, where the truth can finally be told and where you can finally be free. You have been waiting for them to break the silence. I know this. In the quiet, your ears have tuned themselves to the slightest sound from their direction. You catch yourself listening for their footsteps, their voices, their return. Part of you believes this stillness is temporary, that they will gather themselves and come again stronger than before. And part of you is right. They will speak again. They will move again. The silence I have imposed is not their surrender. It is their confusion. They do not understand why their plans keep stalling. They do not understand why their words no longer carry the weight they once did. They do not understand why the fire that drove them has banked into ash. And in their confusion, they are doing something they have never done before. They are listening, not to me, not yet, but to themselves, to the emptiness inside them that they have been covering with their pursuit of you, to the questions they have refused to ask, to the doubts they have buried under their certainty that you were the problem. You have been their focus for so long. You have been the explanation for their restlessness, the target for their frustration, the reason they gave themselves for why their lives were not working. As long as they had you to blame, they never had to look at themselves. But now you are silent. Now I have made you inaccessible to their accusations. Not physically, they could still find you if they searched. But spiritually, I have hidden you. I have covered you in the shadow of my hand. And when they try to summon their anger against you, it comes back empty. When they try to rehearse their grievances, the words feel hollow. When they try to rebuild their case against you, the evidence keeps disappearing. This is disorienting them in ways they cannot explain. And in that disorientation, they are beginning to face something they have spent years avoiding: themselves. Do you understand what I am telling you? The silence of your enemies is not just about you. It is about them. It is the mercy I am extending to them, the same mercy I have extended to you. It is the space I am giving them to confront what they have become. You have prayed for them, not always in love, sometimes in desperation, sometimes in anger, sometimes hoping I would change them so they would stop hurting you. But you have prayed, and I have heard, and I am answering those prayers in a way you never expected. I am answering by letting them sit in the silence they created. They filled your life with noise so they would not have to hear their own hearts. They projected their darkness onto you so they would not have to see it in themselves. They made you the villain of their story so they could be the hero of a tale that was never true. But now the story has paused. The projector has stopped. The lights have come up in the theater of their minds, and they are alone with the truth. This is the most dangerous moment for them, and the most hopeful, because in this silence, they have a choice. They can turn to me. They can let the weight of their own actions press them into repentance. They can finally see what they have done to you and to themselves. They can fall on their faces and cry out for mercy, and I will be there. I am always there, waiting for the smallest turn of the heart. Or they can harden. They can refuse the discomfort. They can blame the silence on something else, on bad timing, on their own weakness, on circumstances beyond their control. They can find new targets for their rage. They can rebuild their case against you with different evidence, different accusations, different lies. The choice is theirs, and I am giving them the same thing I am giving you. Time. Time to decide. Time to see. Time to choose. But here is what you must understand. Here is what I need you to hear in this moment, because it will shape everything that follows. Their choice does not determine your destiny. If they repent, it will be for their healing, not for your vindication. If they harden, it will be for their judgment, not for your pain. Your future is not tied to their decision. Your peace is not dependent on their change. Your life is hidden with me, and what I have for you is not conditional on what they do. You have been waiting for them to change so you could finally rest. You have been waiting for them to admit what they did so you could finally heal. You have been waiting for them to stop being your enemy so you could finally stop being afraid. But I am teaching you to rest in me, not in their repentance. I am healing you with my presence, not with their apology. I am making you fearless by showing you who I am, not by removing every threat. This is deeper than you wanted to go. I know. You would have preferred a simpler path, one where they simply vanished and you never had to think about them again. One where the pain just faded and the memories just dissolved, and you woke up one day free, without ever having to walk through the fire of surrender. But that is not the path to wholeness. That is the path to numbness. And I did not create you to be numb. I created you to feel deeply, to love completely, to hurt honestly, and to heal thoroughly. The silence is not the destination. It is the road. And on this road, I am showing you things you could not see when they were speaking. I am showing you the places where you became like them without realizing it. The places where you adopted their methods, their mindset, their hardness. The places where you started defending yourself with the same weapons they used to attack you. You swore you would never become them. But bitterness does not discriminate. Unforgiveness does not ask for permission. The wound does not care who it shapes you into. It only cares about staying open, staying raw, staying relevant. And you have let it stay open for too long. Not anymore. In this silence, I am closing the wound. Not by magic. Not about them. About you. about what this has done to you, about who you have become in response to their attacks, about the walls you built that now feel like prisons, about the anger that kept you warm but now burns everything it touches. Tell me. I am listening. I have always been listening. I simply needed the other voices to stop so you could finally hear yourself speak. You are not as fine as you pretend to be. You are not as strong as you project. You are not as over it as you claim. And that is okay. That is human. That is the raw material I work with. I do not heal people who have everything together. I heal people who are falling apart. I do not rescue people who have never been lost. I rescue people who finally admit they cannot find their own way home. You are there now. You are in the place where pretense falls away and truth rises. You are in the place where survival strategies stop working and real life can finally begin. Stay here. Do not run from this discomfort. Do not fill this silence with distractions, with busyness, with the noise of a world that does not want you to think. Let the quiet do its work. Let the weight of this moment press you deeper into me. I have more to show you. Things hidden until now. Things you could not receive until your hands were open and your heart was still. The silence is not empty. It is full of me, and I am about to speak again. I need to tell you about the signs you missed. Do not look away. Do not defend yourself. This is not an accusation. It is an unveiling. I am pulling back the curtain so you can see the path that led you here, to this moment of silence, to this place of reckoning. Because if you do not see where you missed me, you will miss me again when I move forward. Look back with me now, not to linger in regret, but to understand. There were moments when I tried to warn you, small promptings in your spirit that something was not right, a restlessness you felt in someone's presence that you dismissed as your own anxiety, a hesitation before you spoke a word that you ignored because you wanted to be heard, a dream that unsettled you, then faded with the morning light. These were me. I was speaking, but the noise was louder, the noise of your own plans, the noise of your own fears, the noise of your own determination to make things work, to fix what was breaking, to hold together what I was trying to dismantle. You missed me because you were moving too fast. You were so focused on the destination that you could not hear the guide. You were so certain of your route that you could not feel the detour I was trying to create. You prayed for direction, then ignored the check in your spirit because it did not match the map you had already drawn. I am not telling you this to shame you. I am telling you this because the silence you are in now is the silence I wanted you in then. I have been trying to get you alone with me for a long time. But you kept filling the space. You kept inviting others into the quiet. You kept turning on the noise the moment the stillness became uncomfortable. So I let the noise continue. I let your enemies speak. I let their words drown out everything else, including my whispers. Not because I abandoned you, but because you were not ready to hear what I needed to say. You had to be desperate enough to listen, and now you are. Look at where you are. Look at what it took to get you here. The opposition, the betrayal, the loneliness, the confusion. The moment when everything you thought was secure began to crumble. You have blamed them for this. You have blamed circumstances. You have even blamed me. Every foundation that shook was a foundation that was never meant to hold you. Every person who walked away was a person who was never meant to define you. Every door that closed was a door that was leading somewhere you were never meant to go. I was not destroying your life. I was saving you from a life that would have destroyed you. You cannot see that yet. You are still too close to the pain. You are still tasting the dust of the collapse. But I am telling you now, in this silence, that the day is coming when you will thank me for the no's. You will bless me for the delays. You will see that the silence of your enemies was not the beginning of your defeat. It was the end of your captivity to their opinions. You have lived for their approval without knowing it. You have measured your worth by their assessment. You have let their acceptance determine your sense of safety in the world. And because they withheld it, you have lived in a constant state of lack, always reaching, always striving, always hoping that one day they would see you the way you wanted to be seen. But I see you. I have always seen you. And the way I see you has nothing to do with them. You are my child. Not because you earned it. Not because you performed well enough. Not because you finally figured out how to make everyone stop opposing you. You are mine because I chose you. I chose you before they ever spoke your name. I chose you before the foundations of the earth. I chose you knowing every failure, every weakness, every moment you would miss me, and every sign you would ignore. This is the truth that has been hidden from you. Not because I hid it, but because you could not receive it while their voices were loud. You could not believe you were loved while you were being attacked. You could not rest in my acceptance while you were desperate for theirs. So I silenced them, not to punish them, though they will face their own reckoning, not to reward you, though this silence is a gift, but to create the space where you could finally hear the words your soul has been starving for. You are loved, not because of what you did, not in spite of what you did, simply because you are mine. Let that land. Let it settle into the places that have been hollow for so long. Let it fill the cracks that their words carved into your heart. Let it become the foundation you build on from this day forward. You have been looking for validation in all the wrong places. You have been asking people to give you what only I can give. You have been expecting your enemies to become your friends, your accusers to become your advocates, your betrayers to become your defenders. And because they did not, you have lived in a state of perpetual disappointment. But I never disappointed you. I never left you. I never spoke against you in the dark. I never plotted your downfall. I never celebrated your pain. I grieved with you. Every tear you cried, I collected. Every sleepless night, I sat with you. Every moment you thought you were alone, I was closer than your own breath. You could not feel me because you were feeling them. You could not hear me because you were listening for them. You could not see me because your eyes were fixed on the horizon, watching for their return. Turn around. I am here. I have always been here, right behind you, right beside you. The silence is not the absence of my voice. It is the amplification of it. In the quiet, you can finally hear what I have been saying all along. In the stillness, you can finally feel what I have been doing beneath the surface. In the hush, you can finally see what I have been building while you were distracted by the destruction. There is purpose in your pain. There is meaning in your waiting. There is design in your delay. You thought they were winning because they were loud. You thought you were losing because you were silent. But I am a God who speaks in whispers. I am a king who conquers in stillness. I am a warrior who wins battles while his children sleep. The work I have been doing in the unseen is greater than anything they could do in the light. The foundation I have been laying is deeper than any structure they could shake. The army I have been raising within you is stronger than any force that could come against you. You are not the same person who entered this battle. You have been changed by the fire. You have been refined by the pressure. You have been transformed by the silence. And soon you will see why. But not yet. Not quite yet. There is one more thing I need to show you. One more layer I need to peel back. One more truth that must be told before you can walk out of this silence and into the purpose that awaits. You have been asking me to use you. You have been asking me to give you a purpose, a mission, a reason to get up in the morning that matters. You have been frustrated by what felt like wasted years, wasted gifts, wasted potential. But I have not wasted anything. Everything they meant for evil, I have been weaving for good. Every attack they launched, I have been using to strengthen you. Every word they spoke, I have been using to teach you to hear only me. The purpose is closer than you think. The mission is about to be revealed. The reason for all of this is standing at the door. But you must leave something behind before you walk through. You must leave them behind. Not in the sense of hatred, not in the sense of revenge, not in the sense of wishing them ill, but in the sense of release. You must stop carrying them into your future. You must stop defining your purpose by their opposition. You must stop building your identity on the foundation of what they did to you. They are not your purpose. They are not your story. They are a chapter I am closing so the real story can begin. Will you let it close? Will you turn the page? Will you trust me enough to leave them in the silence and step into the sound of my voice calling you forward? This is the moment of decision, not about them, about you, about whether you will finally believe that what I have for you is greater than anything they could take from you. I am asking you to trust me, not with words, with your whole heart. You are standing at the edge of something you cannot yet see. I have brought you through the silence, through the exposure, through the reckoning. You have seen yourself in ways you never wanted to. You have felt the weight of what you carried and the relief of setting it down. You have heard me in the quiet, and something inside you has shifted. But now you feel a new tension, a different kind of waiting. The silence that once felt like relief is beginning to feel like suspension. You are caught between the past that is fading and the future that has not yet arrived. And in this in-between place, the enemy you cannot see is whispering a new lie. He is telling you that nothing has changed, that the silence means nothing, that your enemies will return and you will be right back where you started, that this time of stillness was just a cruel pause, a momentary reprieve before the pain resumes. Do not believe him. This is the oldest trick in his script, to make you doubt what I have done while it is still being done, to make you question the transformation before it is complete, to make you look back at the storm while I am trying to show you the calm I have permanently established over your life. I have not brought you this far to drop you. I have not opened your eyes to close them again. I have not spoken to you in the silence to abandon you to the noise. But you must understand something crucial about what is happening right now. You must see why this moment of suspension exists, why you feel caught between worlds, why the silence feels like it is stretching into something you do not recognize. This is the transition, and transitions are always the most dangerous part of any journey. When a child is being born, there is a moment between the safety of the womb and the arrival into the world that is pure passage. The child cannot go back. The child cannot see where they are going. They are pressed and pushed and squeezed through a narrow place with no control, no understanding, no ability to do anything but be moved. That is where you are. You are being born into something new, and the passage is narrow. It requires you to let go of every shape you have known, every comfort you have clung to, every identity that has defined you, including the identity of the one who was wronged, the one who survived, the one who fought back. Those identities cannot enter this new place. They were necessary for the journey, but they are not the destination. You must leave them in the birth canal. You must stop being the person this happened to and start becoming the person I am calling you to be. I will tell you, but you must listen carefully, because the answer is not what you expect. The person I am calling you to be is not defined by what you have been through. They are not marked by their scars, though the scars remain. They are not driven by their pain, though the pain taught them. They are not limited by their past, though the past shaped them. The person I am calling you to be is defined by me, by my presence in them, by my peace ruling in their heart, by my purpose flowing through their hands, by my love reaching through them to a world that is just as broken as they once were. Do you see it? Do you see why the enemies had to go silent? Do you see why I had to isolate you from their voices and their influence and their constant pressure? Because you could not become this person while you were still reacting to them. You could not become a carrier of my peace while you were still at war. You could not become a conduit of my love while you were still nursing hatred. You could not become a vessel of my purpose while you were still defined by your pain. The silence was not the punishment of your enemies. The silence was the delivery room for your new identity. And now you are being born. But birth is not the end. It is the beginning. And what comes after birth is the most vulnerable time of all. The infant must be held, must be fed, must be protected while their strength grows, must be kept warm while their body learns to regulate its own temperature. That is what this waiting is. That is what this suspension feels like. I am holding you. I am feeding you with words you could not digest before. I am protecting you from forces you are not yet ready to face. I am keeping you close while your spirit learns to live in this new identity. Do not mistake my holding for abandonment. Do not mistake the quiet of the nursery for the silence of the tomb. You are not dead. You are being born, and the one who holds you has never lost a child. But I need you to cooperate with this process. I need you to stop fighting the stillness. I need you to stop trying to force the birth before it is time. I need you to trust that I know what I am doing, even when you cannot see the outcome. You keep asking me when. When will they be dealt with? When will I see justice? When will my life make sense again? When will I feel strong enough to face what is coming? And I keep answering the same way. Rest in the when. Trust me in the when. Become who I am making you in the when. The when is not your enemy. It is your friend. It is the space where roots grow deep. It is the time where character is formed. It is the pause between the promise and its fulfillment that determines whether you can carry the promise once it comes. Look at my son. He waited 30 years for 3 years of ministry. He spent decades in obscurity so that when he stepped into the light, he would not be swayed by it. He learned obedience through suffering. He learned trust through silence. He learned to hear only the Father in a world full of voices. And he is your model. He is your older brother. He is the proof that the path you are walking leads somewhere. You are not waiting for nothing. You are not stuck for no reason. You are not forgotten in this silence. You are being prepared, and the preparation is almost complete. I can feel the shift in you, even if you cannot. I can see the places where you have finally let go. I can sense the new softness in your heart, the new stillness in your spirit, the new hunger for me that was not there before. This is what I have been working toward. This is what the silence was always about. Not just the absence of their voices, but the presence of my voice becoming so familiar to you that you will never again be confused by the noise of the world. You will go back into the world. Make no mistake, I am not calling you to a monastery or a cave. I am calling you to engagement. I am calling you to impact. I am calling you to walk through doors that no man can shut and face battles that no man can win, but to do so from a place of such deep union with me that nothing they do can shake you. You will face them again. Not all of them. Some I am removing permanently. But some will cross your path once more. And when they do, you will not be the person they remember. You will not react the way you once did. You will not be drawn into their drama or caught in their traps. You will be so full of me that they will feel it. They will sense the shift. They will know, without understanding how, that something has changed. And that change will be the most powerful witness they ever encounter. This is why I silence them. Not to protect you from them forever, but to prepare you for them in a way that could only happen in their absence. The silence was not the end of the story. It was the middle. And the best part is still to come. But you must stay with me here. You must not rush ahead. You must not try to write the ending before I reveal it. You must simply rest in the knowledge that the one who began this good work in you will be faithful to complete it. I am faithful, even when you cannot see me, even when you cannot feel me, even when the silence seems to stretch into forever. I am faithful, and I am about to show you what that means. Not with noise, not with the return of their voices, not with the chaos you once knew, but with something softer and stronger, something that has been building beneath the surface since the moment I first spoke to you in this quiet place. I am about to speak your future over you, and when I do, everything will shift. Not because your circumstances will suddenly become perfect, they won't. Not because your enemies will vanish forever, some won't. But because you will finally see with eyes that have been healed, hear with ears that have been tuned, and walk with feet that have been planted on ground that cannot shake. You have been waiting for me to change your world. I have been changing you, and now the world you walk into will be different because you are different. The battles you face will be different because you are different. The people you encounter will be different because you are different. Not because they have changed, but because you carry something into every room that was not there before. You carry me, not as a concept, not as a belief, not as a Sunday morning routine, but as a living, breathing, walking, talking reality. You has been with me in the silence long enough that my presence has become part of your atmosphere. You radiate something you cannot name, and the world will feel it even when you do not say a word. This is what your enemies feared without knowing it. This is what their silence was protecting them from. They could face the old you. They could fight the old you. They could wound the old you and walk away feeling victorious. But they cannot face the you that carries me. And when they see you again, and some of them will, they will not understand what has changed. They will search your face for the old fear and find something else. They will listen for the old defensiveness and hear only quiet confidence. They will look for the old wounds and see only scars that have become stories of my faithfulness. Some of them will be drawn to this, the silence they have been sitting in, their own silence, the one I placed them in, has been doing work in them too. Not the same work I did in you, but work nonetheless. They have had time to think, time to wonder, time to question the story they told themselves about you. And when they see you, something in them will crack, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like ice breaking on a frozen river. The first crack will be small, a question they cannot answer, a memory they cannot dismiss, a feeling they cannot explain. That crack is me. I am pursuing them the same way I pursued you, not with thunder and lightning, but with quiet and weight and the unbearable presence of truth. I am giving them the same choice I gave you, to soften or to harden, to turn or to run, to finally see or to blind themselves again. And that will be enough. Because it was never about your words. It was always about your being. It was never about what you said to them. It was always about what you became in me. Look at yourself now. Really look. Not with the old eyes that saw only failure and lack. Not with the wounded eyes that saw only enemies and threats, but with the new eyes I have given you in this silence. Do you see it? Do you see the steadiness that was not there before? Do you feel the peace that does not depend on your circumstances? Do you sense the strength that comes not from effort, but from surrender? This is who you have become. This is who you always were, beneath the layers of wounding and reaction and self-protection. This is the person I saw when I first thought of you, before the foundations of the earth. This is the person I have been calling out of the cave, out of the silence, out of the long night of waiting, and now it is time to live from this place. Not to return to the old life. That life is over. Those patterns are broken. Those chains are gone. You are not going back to the way things were. You are going forward into something none of your enemies could have predicted, and none of your fears could have prepared you for. I am opening doors, not the ones you tried to force open, not the ones you begged me to open years ago. New doors, doors you never saw coming, opportunities that did not exist in the world you used to inhabit. Some of these doors will look small. Do not despise them. Some will look ordinary. Do not ignore them. Some will look nothing like what you expected. Do not reject them. I am leading you in a way you have not known, to a place you have not seen, for a purpose you are only beginning to understand. Trust the leading. Trust the small steps. Trust that the same God who silenced your enemies and healed your heart and transformed your spirit will not abandon you now. And about those who once opposed you, those who spoke against you, plotted against you, wished you harm, release them. Not with a wave of the hand that pretends the pain never happened. Not with a forced smile that hides the depth of what they did. But with the kind of release that comes from a heart so full of me that there is no room left for bitterness. The kind of release that says, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. The kind of release that lets me be their judge, their redeemer, their reckoning. You do not need to carry them anymore. You never did. The weight of what they did to you was never yours to bear. I carried it the whole time. I was just waiting for you to set it down. Now, set it down. Leave it here, in this silence, as you prepare to walk out into the sound of my voice and the light of a new day. Do you feel it? The shift beneath your feet? The stirring in your spirit? The sense that something is ending and something is beginning? This is the moment. This is the transition. This is the boundary line between the old and the new. On the other side of this silence is your purpose. Not a purpose defined by what you do, but a purpose flowing from who you are. Not a mission you have to strive for, but a mission that will find you because you are finally ready to carry it. I have prepared works for you to walk in. Good works, meaningful works, works that will outlast you and echo into eternity. And you are now prepared to walk in them, not because you are perfect, not because you have arrived, not because you will never struggle again, but because you have learned in the silence the one thing that matters most. You have learned to hear me. And as long as you can hear me, you will never be lost. As long as you can hear me, you will never be defeated. As long as you can hear me, you will never be alone. I am with you. I have always been with you. I will always be with you. And now, go. Walk out of this silence and into the life I have prepared for you. Walk with confidence, with peace, with the quiet strength of one who has been with me. The world is waiting. Not for the old you. They already saw that version. The world is waiting for the you I have made, the you who carries my presence, the you who walks in my peace, the you who speaks with my voice, not because you try, but because you have been with me so long that you cannot help it. This is your moment. This is your purpose. This is your life, and it is just beginning. Go in peace. Go in power. Go in the unshakable knowledge that the God who silenced your enemies is the God who walks before you, beside you, and within you. If this message touched your heart, if you felt something shift as you read these words, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video. Comment, I receive this. Let this be the moment you declare that the silence was not empty. It was full of Him. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this series is not over. There is more coming. There is always more with a God who never stops speaking to His children.